Hey there, and welcome to A Well-Rounded Life, the podcast, a space for creative entrepreneurs seeking an intentional life and biz filled with grace, passion, and purpose. I'm your host, Geomyra. I'm a mama, wife, dessert fanatic, and on the ultimate mission to get you closer to your idea of what it means to live a well-rounded life. Right here is where you'll find curated resources, quick tips, and relatable stories, no matter what season of life you're in. So hang out with me for a bit and let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to A Well-Rounded Life. Geomyra here, and I have to say, it feels so good to be back in the rhythm, chatting with you about all things how to live well-rounded. How are you today? How are you, friend? Do me a favor and take a minute to think about that question. How the heck are you? How are you really feeling emotionally, spiritually, and physically? That's a question that my friend and I, we try to ask each other when we check in. Not the fluff, not the generic question of, hey, how are you? With no intentions of listening in. I seriously want to know the answer. So do me a favor and go to my Instagram, I'm at Coach for Creatives, and answer today's question. How are you? I love hearing from you and I want to send some love your way. Before I forget, I also want you to remember to enter Season 2 launch giveaway, which closes on Friday, September 13th. Wow, Friday the 13th. So enter the giveaway. All the details on how to enter are in the show notes on our website as well, awellroundedlifepodcast.com. Easy peasy on how to enter, and I'm wishing you some luck because it's an Amazon gift card, my fave. Today, I want to share with you the scheduling hacks that I use to ensure that I make the most use of the hours in my day. One of the action items that I work with my clients on is how to plan and schedule their days to ensure that they make the time for all the things that they need to get done in their businesses as well as in their homes. You know, all the things such as scheduling for social media posts, time for responding to client inquiries, and how about time to work on the project you committed to doing in last week's episode. Side note, if you are looking to jumpstart a project or launch something new, check out last week's episode, number 17, packed with action steps to get it all done. Okay, back to it. I'm ready to share my formula to scheduling all the things. Grab a sheet of paper, grab your favorite pen, and get ready to do the work today, friends. Today is all about implementation and getting things done because we also are trying to save time. This show is not going to be that long because we are just going to whip right through it. First things first, I want you to make a list. Make a list of the business items that you have to work on for the week. Examples include social media posts, blogging, Pinterest pinning, client meetings, those kind of things. Next up, I want you to then make a list of the items that you have going on in your personal life that you consider to be a priority. Items can include like working out, your daily devotional time, meditation, or honestly, designated time to woosah, or even binge watch the latest on Netflix. Write it all down. Whatever you consider to be a priority to you, make sure you put it on that list. We are now going to shift focus, and we are going to focus on our little people. What items of the kids do you need to make time for in your weeks? Is it packing lunches, homework time that you need to block off, maybe some other things that are related to making sure that you have spent quality time with them? School's back in session, so we want to make sure that we do have designated time for homework, lunches, and all those type of things as well. I want you to get very specific and write down items such as their bath times, their team practices, and prepping their clothes for the week, which is something you guys know I like to do as well to save some time. Next, I want you to make a list of the items that need to get done in your home on a regular basis. Tasks such as maybe meal planning or grocery shopping, doing those chores, handling that laundry, write those things down on your list as well. All the things that keep the house running and the family fed. Those items need to be jotted down on the list that you are making. And of course, since we are all about living well-rounded over here, and we are all about loving on our significant others, make sure you add a line item for intentional time daily for your significant other, your boo, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, whoever brings joy to your life. Make sure you have a line item so that we can make sure we are scheduling time for them as well. All right, sound good so far? And if I missed any categories, just jot down those items on your sheet as well. Everyone's list and everyone's well-rounded life is going to look a little bit different. So don't worry if there's things that I didn't talk about. Just make sure you make a note of the priorities in your life. Okay, now that we have all of our tasks listed, we are going to do what is known as block scheduling to make the most use of our time. Some of you guys have heard the phrase before. Some of you guys may not be as familiar with it, but let me just make a note here that block scheduling is basically assigning blocks of time to complete a project or a task. And it honestly works for me because I know on a given week what will need to get done, when it will get done on a certain day at a certain time frame, so that it helps just make sure our schedule is tight and make sure that we don't miss a beat when we are trying to make time for the things that are super important to us. Block scheduling, it also forces me to focus in on a specific task that needs to get done in the business or items within our home. You are going to take your task and you are going to plug them into your calendar using the block scheduling method. That's my hack, block scheduling. And some of you might have tried it before and you're like, this may not work for me, Geomyra. But, we're going to try. We're going to try to do it a little differently and let's see how this works for you. All right. It's always something that I try to do on the show is introduce alternatives so that you can see what works best for your business, what works for your family, and what works best for you. My goal on this show is also to introduce you to different ways to do things or reintroduce you to something that you might have heard of but may have slipped off of the radar. So with block scheduling, we are legit claiming real estate on our calendars for all the items that need to happen. No excuses on why things don't get done because we are setting intentional, designated time for each priority. They all get their own time slot to make sure that we are laser focused on getting it all done. And I'm a Google Calendar girl, and I use Google Calendar to keep track of my life. Although I have a paper planner that I also use, everything goes into Google Calendar because I want to make sure that I'm getting all of the alerts and everything that I need to do gets a notification so that I can switch gears as well. Sometimes if the week ahead is looking to be chaotic, I use my Google Sheets template that I created and I draft my schedule in there before actually scheduling it in the Google Calendar, the electronic calendar, so that I can make sure that I move things around on the Google Sheets template before I set up the actual alerts. So that's the first thing. You can use a template that has all the times listed from whatever time you get up to whatever time you go to bed, or you can head over to awellroundedlifepodcast.com. All this is in the show notes, and you can grab the template that I use that I am adding in the show notes. So hopefully that you can use that to get started on the block scheduling method. Okay. From there, you can play around with the schedule, you can color coordinate, which I love to do, and you can also print that schedule as well so that you can have it on your desk and right in front of you. If you do not want to use the electronic Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, and all the other options that are out there. There are so many options, so the key is to find what works best for you. If you want to skip the step of actually doing the Google Sheets template option that I use, then you can just go right into your digital or your paper calendar. Again, whatever floats your boat. And I'm going to share a screenshot over on the website at how I have used that actual template to block off the scheduled items that are super important to me before I actually schedule them in the electronic calendar. So if you want a sneak peek into my reality, head over to the website and you'll find the link in the show notes. Okay, So the first item that I want you to put on the calendar is your weekly date day or date night for your significant other. In our house, we treat our date days like a business meeting. Meaning, if you have a boss and they want to meet with you every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m., guess what? You're going to show up for that said meeting without a question, right? I'm pretty sure of that. We try really, really hard over here to adopt the same philosophy with our one-on-one time. So by doing so, it has been the reason why for going on 12 years now, since we've been engaged, that we have our weekly date days. And I say days because my husband has a really weird work schedule. So sometimes our dates are in the daytime. So it's date day, which for us means that we block off some time so that we can just do simple things like going to a movie, restaurant. The whole key here, guys, is to just catch up and have uninterrupted one-on-one time with your significant other. Next, I want you to fill in the schedule with things that you know you need to make a top priority. And I'm talking about things such as your health, so maybe working out, as well as anything related to you being in your best mindset. So make sure you have time scheduled in the week for the gym, devotionals, and time to check in with your girlfriends or the likes of. Okay, so we're going to move over to our babies. Filling the evening spaces with kid practices and homework, if that's something that you guys do in the evenings, and tasks that are related to just making sure the kids have everything that they need and that they are tended to, make sure you make those things a priority as well. I use my Sunday afternoons to pick out the kids' outfits for the week, and I use that time to prep their lunches and their snacks so that it's one and done. We're not reinventing the wheel every single day of the week. I put those things on the calendar so that I know that that's what I am doing on Sundays, blocked off every single week. On my calendar, I also have time blocked off to meal prep and plan and to grocery shop as well. And if you want to know what tool I use to plan our meals, which also saves us a ton of money and a lot of time, check out the link in the show notes, and it has all of the details there on how you can get access to the meal planning tool that I swear by. Our goal in our house is to cook a home-cooked meal at least 3 times a week, which means that I have to meal prep and block off time to actually cook said meals. So I make sure that that is indicated on my weekly schedule as well. For my friends that are rocking their 9 to 5, you can use the calendar to fill in specific work tasks, client work, or even just block off your work schedule, like your whole hours. If you work from 9 to 5, you can block it off. And then what you can do is pick up when you get home or even before you get to work and fill in the blanks with the tasks that are important to you outside of work. Your calendar may start in the morning when you wake up, and then you would just pick back up the details once you arrive home after your commute. And for my small business owners and well-rounders, I recommend that you use the calendar template to plug in business back-end specific tasks that you know you need to handle in order to elevate your business and to keep your clients happy. Block off time to check in with your clients. That is so important. We don't do it enough sometimes as small business owners, but make sure in your calendar you're doing some type of weekly check-in with your clients so that you're not a slave to your inbox throughout the day. I also want you to block off time so that you have designated time to check your email. You don't need to check your email every time you get a ping. That's not being productive, right? Instead, have time blocked off where you are going to check your email a few times during the day. Do the same thing for social media. Determine the times of day that you are going to post, like, comment, and all the specifics that go into engaging on social. When planning your social media content and strategy, I suggest that you block off a chunk of time, maybe every 2 to 4 weeks, on curating content, collecting the images that you need, and writing the captions for each post. That way, you can spend time scheduling your posts once or twice a month. You don't have to go into your scheduling app and open up the computer every single day to post to social. On a daily basis, you can just spend time engaging with your followers. You can like, comment, do everything you need to do instead of scratching your head trying to figure out what the captions are going to be every single day. We don't want to do that. You would be surprised how much time you will save if you stop reinventing the wheel each day and you just focus on the things that are in front of you instead of trying to do 101 things every single day. Right? The whole point of this whole batch scheduling, block scheduling situation is that you know on certain days that your mind is only going to be focused on certain tasks and that you don't have to be the Jill or Jack of all trades every day to run your business and even to run your home. One thing I didn't touch on is how you can also use this method for distributing content on Pinterest, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all those other social media platforms. You can schedule some of your content in those platforms as well so that you're not on your phone or your computer all the time and you can spend more time with your family. If you set a designated time to do that, I promise you are more likely to actually get it all done instead of having those tasks unchecked on that mile-long to-do list that we all seem to have. And if you are someone that has to meet with clients or vendors, I want you to block off time to do that as well. In this case, you may have to be flexible on a weekly basis on where these tasks will actually fit in, which is fine because you can move some things around if you know that your week is not going to look the same each week. So make sure you can be flexible there and move things around if it means that you do have to take important meetings and time that will fit your clients' schedules. I often have to do this when accommodating my client schedules for our virtual chats and also for the accountability check-ins that we do on a weekly basis for some of my clients. I want to make sure that I'm able to meet their schedules because they are a priority to me. Now look at your schedule and see what else you need to plug in that I did not mention. Add those items to your weekly schedule. Add them to your template so that we make sure we hit every single thing that needs to happen. But my friend, I also don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So if you are feeling like your week is feeling a little bit ambitious or a little overwhelming, see if there are tasks that can be handled next week. I know that some of my other business coach friends, they do client on weeks, client off weeks. Some people only will focus on social on the first and the third week. You can be very creative on how you actually get everything done in the month for your business and how you handle all the tasks that need to happen in your home. Again, everybody's calendars are going to look different, so do what feels good to you in order to make everything happen. The goal is to make a plan. A goal is to schedule things out. A goal is to have set time for everything that needs to happen so that we can use that as our guide as we're trying to make the most use of our time. Okay, friends, that's all I have for today's show. So to recap, I want you to make a list of all the things that are super important to you that need to happen in each week. So things for your business, things for yourself, things for your kids. Write them all down on the list. You can use the scheduling template that is listed in the show notes, and then you can plug these items into your electronic calendar or your paper calendar that you use. But the key here is to make sure that everything has a designated time so that you can make sure that it all gets done and that you did not miss a beat. That is the goal. All right. Quick, simple, plentiful, and to the point, just like I like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the weekly roundup, which is our newsletter, pumping out all things well-rounded and just stuff that I think that you are going to love that I want to share with you as well. The link is in the show notes if you want to sign up, and also on the website. Don't forget to subscribe to the show if you haven't done so. And of course, we would love it if you left us a review. Of course, 5-star rating is also helpful. And just make sure that you are connecting with us on social. I'm at Coach for Creatives. I love you guys. I thank you for tuning in this week, and I will see you next week with a brand new episode. Talk to you soon. Bye. Friends, thanks for kicking it with us this week. Remember to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode airs. I'd love it if you leave us a review and share this goodness with your squad. Until next time, seek a well-rounded life and remember to focus on what matters most.